Hi traders, welcome back to this fourth and final part of the Pro Trader Becoming a Trader Discovery series. Now, what we're going to be covering today is some very exciting stuff that revolves around scaling your account. So without much money in your account, and many traders that come through are in the infancy of starting their trading career, meaning they don't have a lot of financial backing, right? They might not have $100, $200, $500,000 in the trading account, which is what they're working towards. But there's a certain starting point where many traders that are looking to quit their jobs or to be able to, travel the world and have that location independence, they don't tend to have a lot of capital when they started out. Such as myself. I certainly did not have a lot of capital. So what we're going to cover today is how to turn $2,000 into a $4,000 monthly income, regardless of, without having to do some crazy 200% return per month. I know it sounds like 2,000 into 4,000 sounds like you need to, triple your money every month, which is just unrealistic, right? That's not what we're talking about here. So that's what we're going to be covering in today's session here. Make sure you stick around all the way through to the end. If you're a Pro Trader subscriber already, you'll see the curriculum begins shortly after this video. If you're not yet a Pro Trader member and you're looking at jumping on board, getting started, stick around. There's going to be another little section where I'm going to present a very special offer to you if you decide to jump on and become an active Pro Trader member. So let's jump in. First things first. So my story, just a little bit of a touch on this. So I started trading at the time of recording here is just over 8 years ago. And I had big goals, big dreams, big aspirations to become a full-time trader and to quit my job and travel the world and do all that and pay my mum's mortgage to do all of that in my first kind of 12 months, 24 months of trading, right? First couple of years. Now that didn't happen. And why didn't that happen, right? And it wasn't because, firstly, I didn't have the reliable source of education. I had some PDF kind of written content trying to figure out where to go from there. A lot of my more advanced education came from myself or came later on when there were more readily available resources. However, the major thing was the capital. I didn't have the money, right? Even if you're one of the top traders and you're doing 200% a year, right? That's still not going to be much it's not going to be enough to retire on with my $50 in my bank account, right? So what I would do, this was my strategy back then, and you luckily now don't have to actually to do what I did. You can learn from my mistakes, is I would go to work and I'd be working, I'd be aspiring, I'd be grinding, trying to push to get the promotion, to get a better income. Now, at the time I was working in door-to-door sales, and I did that for the good part of 6, 7, maybe even 8 years. Quite 8 years, but anyway, about 6 years. I was working in door-to-door sales, and I knew if I went and I worked the weekends, if I worked Saturdays and Sundays and worked longer hours and stayed that extra hour or 2 hours out on the field, I could perhaps make some more money that I can then put into my trading account and begin trading and scaling up my trading account with, right? So I'd basically do that full time, put all my time, all my energy into generating more income so that I can put it into my trading account. Now I'd get to a certain point where I'd get a reasonable account size, or I'd set some savings aside, and then I'd end up wanting to focus full time on trading. And I'd end up either quitting my job or taking a hiatus and taking a few months off. And then my funds would tend to dwindle because I've got no income. I've got to be paying living expenses. I've got to be, doing all this. And I'd end up flip-flopping. This would happen quite a few times. I'd flip-flop between trading full-time, trying to trade to pay the bills, which is not really a great place to start out. In the beginning, when you're trying to learn and you've already got the emotions floating around in your head and you're unsure whether or not you're going to be profitable or not that month, and you've got to pay rent, it's a very stressful place to be in. And I really recommend against putting yourself in that situation. Works for some people, but for the majority, I'd say it's just not one of those things you want to have hanging over your head to be able to pay the bills, because you're going to find yourself, you end up over trading or under trading from fear of losing money because this money is supposed to go to rent and so on, right? So I'd flip flop anyway, and I'd end up jumping from one job to another job, and I found myself stockbroking. I wanted to still move closer to trading, and I'd craftily find jobs or find careers that would help improve my skill set. Now, stockbroking, working on Martin Place in Sydney, downtown on the financial district, none of what I learned was really applicable to my trading. And I hated it. It was absolutely bloody miserable, right? Right? That was not a fun place to be. But what these jobs did help me with was to incentivize me to not pursue those things that I don't want to do, right? But ultimately, it became this lack of having capital. I found myself treading water for the good part. First, probably 5 years of my trading would be flip-flopping back and forth between job full-time, give up trading entirely, intermittently for 3 months, 6 months. There's been times that I just didn't even look at a chart for 6 months, and then until I get the capital, and then back to the charts, just 12 hours a day, and back and forth. And it doesn't need to be that way, and I recommend it not doing it that way. So we want to find a balance, right? And with the resources I'm about to show you now, you could, in theory, go out with $2,000, and within 3 months from now, you could have a $100,000 trading account if you've got the skills. So as I've said in the previous lessons, is that the money is in the skill, not in the account balance, right? Master the skill. That's what we teach in Pro Trader. And what I'm going to cover briefly today is the step-by-step method, how to secure this outside capital. Now, the actual abilities to go and execute and to be able to leverage your skill set to actually pass one of these prop firm challenges is that's what you're going to learn in the Pro Trader curriculum. So if this tickles your fancy, if this is something that sounds like it's for you, Pro Trader subscription, we're going to be able to help you get there step by step, every step of the way, right? So let's jump in. First things first. So prop firms. This company here, they're called FTMO. They were the first company that launched a prop firm. And you can see here they're boasting Forex traders wanted. Trade our company's capital, receive up to 90% profit. We cover the losses, right? That's one. Another one over here, MyForexFunds, funded trader program. So you can see these are not uncommon these days. We're going to dive back into these in a moment. But what a prop firm is it's essentially a company that has larger sums of capital, and they are looking, generally they're traders themselves, but they're looking to diversify between traders. Now, it makes sense, right? If you're somebody who's savvy on investing, or if you're a trader, you understand risk and probability models, that you're better off having your $1 million spread out $100,000 across 10 different traders, right? That are all good quality traders. Of course, if they're not very good quality, then you don't want to be, giving money to them. So you'd rather that than $1 million, your entire trading portfolio, even perhaps in your own hands, even trading it personally for yourself. Now, often as well, these big funds, they might be up in their, they might have $1 billion or a couple of billion under management. Now, it's unrealistic for one trader to be trading multiple billions and to achieve that same return, because liquidity reasons and when you enter the market and you place $1 billion or a multi-billion-dollar trade, you're going to end up, it just doesn't work that way, right? You can scale so far. If you're trading a $10 million account, no problem. Liquidity is not a problem. But a $1 billion account, this is where the hedge funds and things like that, that's why they have lesser returns than a smaller retail trader, right? For these guys, 500 billion under management, it's unrealistic for them to pull 100 or 200% from the markets each year. It's just not going to happen. It's like a cruise liner versus a speedboat. When you're a retail trader with trading less than $10 million, you can trade whatever you want, and you can scale and so on. So they do like to diversify between traders. Now, these challenges, we're going to get to this in a moment, they have a very clever way of removing risk for themselves before even giving you capital. And there's two ways that they do that. And that's via a challenge, and that's via a enrollment fee, which is refundable if you pass the challenge, right? So they filter out, they say only about 1 in 20 people, 1 in 20, I'm going to say people, that attempt these challenges pass. Now, I carefully use that word people, because you've got everyday people off the street, crypto bros who you see at the gym, posted on Instagram. These guys are the ones that many people who may have had a win or a win streak in the markets, these kind of more taking punts. They have a win streak and they think that they're the next best the next Warren Buffett or the next top trader investor, and they go and attempt these challenges, and quite quickly these challenges are designed that only an experienced trader who practices proper risk management, who follows a strategy, who basically does all the things that we teach in Pro Trader, only if once you've learned that skill, trading as a skill, not as a lucky streak, will you be able to pass one of these challenges, right? So they have this incredible filtering mechanism, which means that if you pass, you've already proven yourself as a top trader, and they're happy to give you capital, right? And then they give you quite a generous profit split as well. Now, on the other side of that, they have a challenge fee. So everybody who attempts one of these challenges, you pay, it's about $500, depending on which account size you're going for, but you can choose the account size, and then you pay in proportion to that account size, right? So they say about 1 in 20 traders pass. So if you think about how much revenue they've already accrued by the time one trader passes, that is more or less their risk buffer, right? That's how much that they often allocate, and we'll get into the math and the numbers soon. That amount that they accrue, let's say, okay, let's go with this example here. I'll be specific with numbers. So to get a $100,000 prop firm account, right, where they give you $100,000, you pay your $500, 1 in 20 traders will pass. If you pass, that's another side note. If you pass, you get that money refunded. So it actually costs you nothing if you've got the skills. If you're a punter who's coming in and attempting these prop firm challenges, chances are you're going to fail, 95% chance you'll fail. So if 1 in 20, 20 times 500 is $10,000, right? Now, if they give you a $100,000 prop firm account, typically they give you a 10% drawdown limit. Now, some of this terminology might be new to you, and that's okay. Basically, what that means is that they give you a $100,000 account. If you trade that down, if you lose 10,000 of that, if you trade it down to 90,000, they take the account off you again. Now, you don't pay any of that, right? You don't front anything. If they give you that trading account, you keep a good, generous portion of the profits, but they take all of the losses. As we can see here on FTMO, we cover the losses. Do they cover the losses? Well, sort of. Yes, technically they do, but from the 10,000 that they accrued from failed prop firm challenges, that's actually what's covering the losses. See, it's a pretty genius business model, right? So all you need to do is have the skill set, have the knowledge, know how to trade, and it costs you nothing because you get your fee refunded once you pass, and you can be receiving up to a 90% profit split from that 100K trading account. Cool. So that's their model, and that's how they've removed risk. So I've heard traders, and it's common to think that, hang on, if they're going to give me an account and let me lose $10,000 of it, that's a lot of risk that they're taking, and that can often put pressure on you as a trader as well. Fuck, I don't want to lose somebody's $10,000. Not really. That 10,000 is just coming from the failed challenges anyway. So they've removed all risk before they even give you a single penny. Genius. I love the business model, right? So let's jump into the challenge. Let's have a look. So FTMO.com is one of them. You could literally go and enroll and sign up with them today. If you're not a trader, I encourage you don't. Otherwise, you're just going to end up blowing money. And then the other one over here is MyForexFunds. I really like these guys. They're a little bit newer. FTMO, as I said, they were the first prop firm, kind of the grandfathers of the prop firm model. But even still, they didn't start up until, I think it was 2017, 2018, something like that. So they're still relatively new. They're established, and it's a great model, and they're not going anywhere. They're regulated. But again, they didn't exist when I first began. So this is a luxury that you have that I didn't have when I started trading. So this is what we're looking at here is the challenge, right? So the FTMO challenge, step 1. We can see here, they give you 30 days in the first month to achieve certain targets, right? So this is on a $10,000 account. You can choose currency, let's say US dollars normal, and risk is normal, balance is $100,000. So let's have a look. So all you need to do to pass step 1, so there's 3 stages, step 1, step 2, step 3. Step 1 is to reach a certain, firstly, we want to look at profit target. So $10,000, which is 10%, right? And if you click through any of these, you'll see $5,000, $5,000. So it all just scales in proportion to the account balance. It doesn't change at all. The targets are still the same. So let's talk in percentage. So it's a 10% profit target, 10% maximum loss. So drawdown limit. So the goal is basically turn your $100,000 into $110,000 within 30 days before trading it down to $90,000 within that 30-day period. Now this one is 540 euros. They're a little bit more expensive just because they are the kind of the flagship, right? And you just have to place at least 10 trades or at least one trade a day for 10 days for that. So you can't go ahead and just put it all on black and just win 10,000 on one position. You have to still actively trade for 10 days. Right now, once you pass that and you reach a 10% drawdown limit, you can, that can happen in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. You don't have to trade the whole 30 days. They'll issue you another account, a second account, exactly the same. This is just demo accounts, by the way. So this isn't real money, right? This is the challenge still. So next you'll get, it's pretty much the same thing. You have to do it again, except you get double the length of time, 60 days, rather than 30 days. So you get twice as long, and you only need to reach 5%. So it's half the target. So step 2, if you pass step 1, you should be passing step 2. But this is just the step 2 is kind of to filter out, okay, are you actually a reasonable trader? And this is what they are expecting traders to be trading like. That's like their profit target is around 5% per month is what they like, or 2.5% per month is absolutely fine. So 2 months, you have to make on average 2.5% per month for the next 2 months. 10% is just to prove that you can hit certain profit targets. But after that, that's where you land. Now, once you achieve that, phase 2 or step 2, these are both kind of verification. So there's the challenge, then there's the verification. You get issued the 100K account, the live $100,000 trading account. Now, you're still given a demo account, so it's still paper money, but it's connected to a live account via a trade copier. In the back end, they take care of all of that. So that's the kind of workaround or the loophole that they use so that you're not technically trading somebody else's money, which you need a financial services license to do. They're not actually giving you real money. They're giving you a demo account, which is linked to a live account. But for all intents and purposes, it is a live account. And it trades very much just like a live account in the live markets and so on. Now, there is no, once you pass that and once you've secured the account, there is no profit target. Right? You can make 1% a month. You can make 0.5% per month. There is no minimum trading days, right? You've still got $5,000 maximum. Okay, we didn't cover this daily loss. So you can't lose more than 5% in any one day, which you shouldn't really. If you're doing proper risk management, you should never be reaching any more than that. If we're risking only 1% per trade and we're maximum taking 2, maybe 3 trades in a day, really 8 to 12 trades per month, we're never going to reach that. You need to take 5 losses in a day, which isn't going to happen. Maximum loss, $10,000. So still, if you trade it down 10%. So after your first month of trading, so of the live account, after the first month, it's in your dashboard. You just click a button, and they rebalance that account, and whatever profits there were, that gets paid out to you, generally between 70, 80, or 90% profit, depending on how it's scaled up. Cool. So that's these guys. So if we remember the key metrics here with FTMO, basically 540 euros, 10% profit, 10% drawdown. That's the major thing here. Now, if we jump over to MyForexFunds, this is they're a little bit easier. They call this the evaluation. So they've got a few different options. Look at the evaluation. If we click into here, profit split up to 85%. So that's it's slightly less. So it's 85 instead of 90% profit. I believe with my FTMO, it needs to scale up to 90. I think they start you out on 70% on your first month. I trade for MyForexFunds, but I really like these guys, so I don't actually have an FTMO account at the time of this recording. I will get one probably in the next couple of months. Why not? You can have as many as you want. That's another thing to note here. Using a trade copier, even though they're different accounts, you can just trade. I still trade just my personal account, and that's linked to all of these other accounts. So I've actually got 2 MyForexFunds accounts, right? Again, at the time of the recording, but I'm looking at scaling them both up. You can have a maximum of 3 with FTMO and 3 with MyForexFunds. So I'm just going to keep scaling and approach that 1 million or that 7-figure account funds under management. So as we can see here, 100K, it's laid out slightly differently, but they're refundable registration fee, as we said, refunded once you get your first withdrawal. So after the first month of trading the live account, it doesn't matter if you make $50 or if you make $500 or $5,000 return, they'll refund that with your first payout. Now, what I like about these guys is the drawdown. It's a 12% drawdown limit. So remember on the 100K where you're only allowed to lose 10,000, these actually allow 12,000. Now, the profit target is only 8%, right? So this is an interesting thing where your profit target is less than your drawdown limit, right? So 100,000 account, you need to make 108,000 before trading it down to 88,000. So you got to make $8,000 before losing 12,000. And that's what I call like a profitable edge, right? The likelihood, darts at a dartboard, if you're just taking random positions, 1-to-1 reward risk, trading any direction, statistically, you'd pass more often than you'd fail. Instead of that balanced, I've seen there are other prop firms out there that are like 12%, 12%, 10%, 10%, 5%, 5%. For the most part, it's all pretty much the same because it's a balanced risk to reward or profit target drawdown limit ratio. Now, this is actually a kind of a profitable ratio here. Instead of a balanced, it's you got to make less than what you're allocated to lose. So that's quite nice. And then phase 2 is 5%. So same as before. So it's 5%, 12%. So this 12% remains fixed. And then once you are trading the account live, same thing, it's still 12%. So you've got a little bit more of a wiggle room there. So if you have a string of losses, you're less likely to lose the account or have the account taken off you if you go with MyForexFunds. Than if you're at only a 10% drawdown limit versus 12% drawdown limit. Aside from that, guys, everything else is the same. These are quite cool. So they give you 75% on your first payout for your first month, then 80% of your profit, and then 85% of your profit bi-weekly from that point onwards. So that's quite nice. They pay out every 2 weeks or bi-weekly, rather than waiting monthly. So that's that. There's 200K account options there. It's cost a little bit more. Very much the same thing, same targets, same everything. So that's prop firms, right? What I love about this and sourcing this outside capital, rather than calling your friends, calling your family and asking them to send you money, firstly, you need to have a financial services license to take any outside capital. So with that loophole that they've found there, it's quite cool where it's all set up via a trade copier. But if we reflect and review upon what I said right at the very first lesson here, or the first workshop, is this still matches and this meets, even though you're kind of trading for a company, it matches those 5 criteria that I set for myself when I was 18 years old, right? So you're independent of a boss, you have no customers, you have no staff, this is scalable to infinity or more than what you'll ever need, and it's location independent. And those 5 things, trading for a prop firm, is what allowed me to live here comfortably in Bali without having to really worry about the debt collectors chasing after me as they had done in my earlier years, right? So we can live a fairly lavish lifestyle, and this is still early days in my journey, right? This is going to be scaling. My scaling plan is to scale this up to over a 7 figures and beyond. So I'm actually attempting a prop firm challenge every month for 24 months. I'm well on my way through that 24 months. And if I've got an 80% pass rate, that is of $100,000 on average per month. 80% pass rate is 2 million funds under management. Now, once you've got 2 million funds under management, 5% profit target, with an 80% profit split, I keep 4% of that, which works out $80,000 per month, which works out $20,000 per week, which is that magic number of $1 million a year, a 7-figure a year income. So last little resource I'll share with you here. We did cover this one earlier in one of the earlier lessons, but let's go back to, let's say you get to your 100K account, you pass your prop firm, and then you quit your job. So your monthly income is nothing, monthly savings, nothing, and then your monthly return's only 5%, right? This is how, with $100,000 in 5 years, you can scale it up to 900. Now, this is the other thing I wanted to note here, is that when you're passing these prop firm challenges and you start generating income, you don't keep that capital in the prop firm. You withdraw that, use some of it to cover your living expenses if you are a full-time trader and you don't have any other income. But you want to be allocating as much of that as possible into basically growing and nurturing your own trading account, right? So you take every single month, you rebalance the account, and then you put, for me, I put 80% of it into my personal trading account, and then scale that until that becomes the $2 million account. and it's completely risk removed because there is inherent risks of other people holding your money. You're better off just keeping it yourself in your own trading account. And then of course you keep trading your own trading account, and that just scales and compounds as you grow. So one 100K, one prop firm challenge, and that's only the 100K. The first prop firm I passed was for the 200,000, right? You're making 5%. Monthly return in 5 years from now is 46,000. Now let's say you pass 3 prop firms, or if you do what I did and just went straight for the 200,000, in 5 years from now, or even if we go 1 year from now, right? You can scale that pretty aggressively and be making upwards of $20,000 a month. But ultimately, the main goal here is to get you retired or to quit your job, right? If that's where you're currently at, where 100,000, 5%. Oh, one thing we need to adjust here. If you're trading prop firm capital, again, if you make a 5% return, or that you're only getting 4% of that, that's what you're pocketing, right? So that becomes $100,000, 4% in 12 months from now, it will be 6,400. But currently, from month 1, you pass a prop firm challenge this month, you're trading that live account, 4%, you make 5% return, you're up $4,000. So how do you turn $2,000 into a full-time income to generate $4,000 a month? What I would do in this situation is to invest in my education first and foremost. Learn exactly how to pass one of these challenges, right? So let's say pro trader, you sign up for 12 months. The next 12 months, you just study, you pay our small subscription fee, you learn everything that there is to learn to become a trader. Consider this your study or your university, your education. Get a part-time job on the side, right? Rather than devoting your all your time, all your energy, all your attention into a career, this becomes the career, right? Like when you went to university, if you ever did, I did for 1 year, and I thought that was a sham, so I left. But you're focusing 80%, 80% of your working attention into studies, because that's what your career is. And then you work in a restaurant as a waiter on the side. That's how you want to be looking at trading, right? Trading is no longer the side income, right? That should be the primary, and then get a side income on the side of trading. That way around. That's how I would do it first and foremost. So let's say you got $2,000 in your account now, and you want to be generating enough income currently to be able to cover your living expenses. If you want to keep working the full-time job, that's cool as well. Just understand that it may take longer for your studies and trading. Trading is something that will take time. It will take energy and attention and consistency. Unlike me, which took 5 years of flip-flopping back and forward, consistency is key. Whether it's an hour a day, 2 hours a day, 10 hours a week, whatever it is, it will get you there sooner. So, Pro Trader subscription for 12 months. It's less than $2,000. I'll tell you that. And then after those 12 months, attempt a prop firm challenge, which is $500 or thereabouts, or $1,000 if you're going for the $200,000 account. Pass the prop firm challenge, get refunded less than $2,000, and in 12 months from now, if you've focused, studied everything there is in the Pro Trader curriculum. We've already got students that are coming in passing these different prop firm phases, phase 1, phase 2s, and then you're pretty much good to go. Trade consistently 5% per month after that, and you've turned successfully $2,000 into a $4,000 monthly income in 12 months, or potentially less, or potentially more. If it takes you 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, does it really matter to, is that still a vocation or a task worth pursuing, to be able to have the freedom, have the luxury to do what you want when you want, to fire your boss, not work with customers, not have to do any of that other stuff. That was the commitment that I made to myself. Whether it takes me 15 years, this is still something worth embarking on, rather than sticking on my regular trajectory, which the life path I was on, staring down the barrel of 65 and maybe even 70 on an aged pension retirement fund. Not very exciting, right? So that's that. That's what we have. That's what Pro Trader is all about. Taking you from turning $2,000 into a $4,000 monthly income, using prop firms, using that skill, leveraging all the tools, all the resources out there to minimize and reduce that time that it takes. Because I understand your time is precious. We want to get you there as soon as possible. That's what ProTrader is about. So in my opinion, ProTrader is the most comprehensive trading curriculum community out there. Compared to, from everything that I've seen out there, it's the most comprehensive, encapsulating, that focuses more on these prop firms. Prop firms are pretty new, so your other trading companies out there that have been doing this for 10 plus years, a lot of them don't even mention prop firms. They don't even they might know they exist, but they don't have any experience in them. As a new age trader, this is the path that I believe in. If you don't have capital, if you got 100 or you got a couple of $100,000 in your trading account, cool. You can bypass the prop firms. I still encourage, why not, scale to 2 million funds under management using prop firms. So that's all for now. If you are yet to enroll in ProTrader, become a member, stick around. We're going to cover exactly what it is that you're getting, and we've got a very special offer here for you. See you there. Bye for now.